Hello, this is Solomon Davis, Right Side Trader. Today is May 20th, 2023, and this is my weekly market review where I'm reviewing the Russell 2000 on a quarterly chart, monthly chart, weekly chart, and a daily chart. This is all for educational purposes only. No trade recommendations here. Just a quick view of the market and what's been happening this past week. Let's jump right over to the charts and take a quick look. All right, on the quarterly chart, I'm gonna just go ahead and the thing is the Russell is still what I would say in a bear market because technically looking at the monthly chart, when we get to that, you're gonna see it is still below the 10 moving average. So we say technically the Russell is in a bear market. Here on the quarterly chart, these are some things where right now when we're in this bear sideways market, I like doing certain style trading and all. Right now, on this chart, we can see we are below the 10 still. We're above the 50. We're kind of going sideways. We got two dojis quarter after quarter. It was in a tight range even here at the end of last year. It just came up a little bit higher and still going sideways. My markers that I have in the market for my top range and all, and for my bottom range and for my midpoint are still in play. That's what I see on the quarterly chart. You're going to see it on all my charts. Right here on the monthly chart. On the monthly chart, you can let me just zoom in a little bit even more here, where we can maybe this will be a little bit better. You can see I'm just marking this high right here. We've been making lower highs. We was making lower lows this month here. We didn't make the lower low. So I was wondering, are we at the bottom? But then here in May, we have made a lower low. We still have a lower high here for the month of May. This past Friday, we actually got a good push back down and all. So we're still in this tight little range. The market has been having a hard time closing above 1800 and actually closing below 1700. And as you can see, my markers that I have in the market for myself is at 1850, 1700, and 1650. Those are the points that I'm looking for to see if the market can actually cross those. But at this time, as we can see, we are below the 10. The 50 is getting ready to cross above the 10, or the 10 is getting ready to cross below the 50. So we're at one of those points where I wonder if the big guys are looking at this type of stuff and if this is going to cause some kind of reaction in the market. But that's something to be aware of at this time. On the weekly chart, we had these weekly drops. We had this weekly doji. We had this weekly red candle going higher. And now we got this weekly green candle went back up to about 1800 to the top of not quite to the top of this range. The top of my little midpoint range is around 1824, 1825, and the market hasn't crossed that line yet at this point. We had a pretty good pushback up at the end of the week here, but it came right back down, on Friday. So we're still stuck in that range. We have had the cross where these are the 200 and the 50. We have had where the 200 is getting on top of the 50. It's even pointing more bearish in the market. We haven't really had in my opinion, we really haven't had a reaction to the big money. This market is still kind of just this Russell market is still kind of just going sideways. And our stochastic down here is still hanging out down here at the bottom. It has crossed above the 20, but it hasn't gone anywhere. It hasn't made a move like we used to seeing it make a move. It's going sideways. It's going sideways. Just realize that it's going sideways. It hasn't chosen a direction at this time. Maybe once some events and all settle out, this market may make up its mind and choose a direction. Otherwise, in my opinion, based on what I see, this market is going sideways. What do I think? I think this market is going sideways at all. So let's just be mindful that the type of strategies that you should be using, the time you should be doing things right now, and based on one of my other rules, below pivot, we'll stand below this pivot. And these are monthly pivots. We might end up, for the rest of this month. We got a couple of more weeks where we don't get above this pivot line here. And I'll have to see how this plays out here on the bigger picture. A lot of times, like one of my basic rules we had studied, the market starts off below pivot, it stays below pivot. It started out, it couldn't get above pivot this past the beginning of this month, and it's been staying. It came up above pivot here, but what's going to happen next week? Is it going to come back down? Don't know, but I like to see how it plays out. But here's a month back here. I'm looking at a chart where it was above pivot and it ended up coming back and getting back down below pivot by the end of the month. But it's just me. I have a trading strategy around that. That's the whole thing, and it. For me, based on my studies, it can work for me in the way I trade it. Don't want to get too much into trading. Let's go ahead and look at the daily noise right quick and see what we see here. As we can see, the thing here, this is where you take your swing. You're looking at this based on the bigger picture and timing your entry to take your longer term swing type trades. You want to play based on how you have your stochastic is actually set up and patterns that you want to see in the market. This is when you take your long trades. You see a bounce up from the bottom. You see a bullish looking patterns, but they haven't been lasting that long. That's the issue that's going on right now. It didn't really make it to the top to actually give you a good bearish trade to actually take, even though you had a bearish pattern. But then since it didn't give you a good play on the stochastic all the way to the top and trying to take that bearish trade, that should have been a no trade, especially if you got a green candle out there. You didn't get an entry. That's the whole thing. And then your entry to the bear side, you're already at the bottom here. You don't take that bear trade. Talking too much about trade, but what I see for the overall picture, we're back at the top of this lower range that we got stuck in, and that's what I see. That's how I'm gonna end this at this time. This is Solomon, Right Side Trader. Hope this has been helpful. Get you where you can see how the market can range and be mindful of that. Again, hope you guys had a great week. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. Talk to you next week. Bye.